Good morning. Happy Halloween. This is Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher, and welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch and haul and life updates and other stuff. So if you're here on purpose, thank you for coming. If you stumbled across my channel and you've never seen Flosstube before, welcome. If you think this is Chemistry 101, you're in the wrong class. So let's see. I've got a lot to do today. I'm on vacation. Yay! I made it through the week. I don't know what happened this week. It was a week where I rarely get complaints at work for my team, but we had several, and they were little picky things. So it was not the end of the world, but it took a lot of time to resolve those issues, and regular work and getting ready to go on vacation this next week. And it's a full moon, a blue moon, a harvest moon, COVID, whatever an election, 2020, all in 1 week. So ridiculousness, but we made it, and I'm glad to be here with you. So let's talk about stitching. First of all, I did want to shout out, I keep a notepad near where I stitch, and sometimes I write things down, sometimes I don't. So it's always sort of a gamble. When I go to do a video, I'm like, okay, how many did I write down this time? 1. Sometimes I have a whole bunch, and sometimes I have very few. 3 Trail Stitchers. I believe this is the channel that I watched where the last video was two ladies and their mom. And they're all pretty prolific stitchers, and the mom made these sewing baskets. Actually, she took her ancestral sewing baskets, or for the 2 ladies, her daughters. She redid them and stitched something for the top, and they are amazing. And I thought, oh, I wish I had something like that where I could make this sort of heritage piece to pass down to one of my grandchildren or great-grandchildren or whatever, right? Or I'll leave for the Goodwill. I don't know. But I was very intrigued. I thought they were fun to watch, and I recommend them. I will link them below. 3 Trails Stitchers. Then, so winners from last time. Let's talk a little bit about giveaways. So last time we had Ravenhill Herb Farm from the Victoria Sampler. The winner of this pattern was Rose Sells, and I have just commented on your comment. So Rose, please get a hold of me. I'll put the email below to contact me to send your address. But isn't that pretty? So congratulations, Rose. The second one is Stitching Is, and the winner of this is Katarina Perry. Again, I commented on your comment, but isn't that neat? I love that. And then the third one is Queen's Garden Queenstown Sampler, the Queen's Garden, and the winner of this is Kimberly O'Boyle. So again, I commented on your comment. Please go ahead and email me your address. Congratulations to the winners. I have another giveaway, but I'm going to wait a little bit. I'll show that toward the end. So let's see. I actually wrote notes today. Sometimes it's just a blank piece of paper with like 3 things scribbled on it, and sometimes I actually write things down. I want to say thank you to a subscriber who sent me some stitching kindness. She's so sweet. She sent me a message and said, I have something I want to send you. Can you send me your address? And of course I said yes, but you never know who a serial killer might be. So one of these days, I have to be really careful. But she sent me a bundle of Tilda fabric. She had some in her stash she wasn't going to use, and I was thrilled because I love Tilda fabric. It is adorable. And wouldn't this be great? Something for summer or Easter, or I don't know. I might find a place to put that in a quilt. But thank you, Deborah. I truly appreciate it. It was such a thrill to receive that in the mail. I'm so grateful. Completely unnecessary, but still fun to get something like that in the mail. Ooh, let's see. What else do we have here? So I thought I would show, I've got 2 big finishes. I'm going to show you a previous finish. I ran across this in my craft room, and you know, I just got my hair cut, but I had to leave my bangs longer, and they are driving me insane. was going to come to the video and put a hairband on. Nobody needs to see that, but they're driving me crazy. So anyway, I love my hairdresser. She does a great job. Hairstylist. Is that the right word? Hairstylist. Anyway, I was in my craft room and I ran across something. Y'all know I've done a lot of things in the past in terms of crafts. I want to do more wool applique. I have several wool applique patterns. I've done a little bit. I have painted. This painting is by my aunt. It's not mine. I inherited. But when I was in high school, I took a painting class. And we painted, and when I say that, it's loosely. Like, we all painted what we wanted, and that was what we did. It wasn't really like we're all going to do the same project kind of a thing. So we did oil painting, acrylic. Did we do acrylics? This was a long time ago. We did oil painting, a little bit of watercolor, which I loved. And when I retire, I do want to do more watercolor. I've done acrylic, though, toll painting for years. I've taken that from a teacher, but I ran across this. It's like the size of my head. That's a huge rose, isn't it? This, I was in high school, right? So I was like, what's that, 15 maybe? And I look at it now, I'm like, oh, I would do so many different things with this. Like, I would not have one little tiny little leaf down here. I'd have more leaves, right? And maybe more movement in the background and more highlights on the rose. But for 15, that's not bad. And I sort of laughed that I still had this, but I had a thing for drawing roses and painting or sketching. Anyway, it's kind of fun. I thought I'd share that with you. Back in the way back machine, right? And then I've been stitching, and I'll show you my whips in a minute, but let me show you my two finishes. So I have been on fire. My needle has been on fire for the last few months. I finished G Leger, and that's that total framing, and I have a frame picked up for it. They are so busy. So what a blessing to have so much business. So it'll be a little while before I get it back, but it's going to be gorgeous. I can't wait for it. I have English Garden that's in a different framers. And I went with my sister, and when we picked out the frame and went through the process, she had some things framed also. They didn't all come out the way we expected them to. So they're being redone. Like my English Garden sampler, my sister picked it up for me because it's a few hours from where I live. It's in the town close to where she lives. They didn't have any reveal. They framed it all the way to the edge on top of my stitching and didn't put the fillet in that I paid for. That was not on sale. So they had to go reorder another frame. But the gal who helped us, she did not know what she was doing. So I had another gal remeasure it while we were still there. And she's like, oh, this needs to be bigger. And they charged me more money, which is fine. I mean, I should pay what I am getting. And even still, it was too small. So I don't know. They'll make it right, which is good. So the next two that I have finished are Winter Rose Manor by With Thy Needle and Thread. This is stitched with most of the called for colors. I'm starting getting some shadow in here because it's early in the morning and it's sort of the sun's not out yet. This is on 40 count Picture This Plus Fresco, which is one of my very favorite fabrics. It is, I did substitute a couple of Victorian mottos for the reds. The reds that she has are cayenne and something else, but I picked a couple of different ones. And the white, I chose Chalk by Gast, because I really wanted the white to stand out. And I think it's like the call for is maybe roasted marshmallow or something that's much creamier. So let me just show you as I get closer. It's such a pleasure to stitch this. This pattern has been released, so you can get it from your LNS. I love it. I love it. Anyway, so there's my first one. And then my finish last night is Halloween at Hollyberry Farm. And I love this one too. That flower border, it got screwed up, but I fixed, I fudged it. Nobody's going to know. That's the colors are great on this. This fabric is 40 count vintage wood smoke. the blues, remember these are the chart is actually black. It calls for some blacks, but I substituted some blues that looked more like the picture. And I substituted black crow and blacksmith blue for the two blue / blacks, and my white is grits. So what a great, this is last night I finished this one. So Halloween Eve, finished that one. So that was my second big finish. And I have, I don't know. So that was my blonde and my brunette, right? So I have coming up, I have a retreat, and I'm thinking through my strategy of my next blonde and my next brunette. One is a Quaker, which is not great to stitch at a retreat. I love Quakers, but it's easy to get off on a Quaker because you have these independent motifs. And if you don't count off on the right spot, you're going to be off, and then you have to fudge a lot. So I'm not going to take that one with me. And my brunette is Sarah Chapel, and I can't wait to start stitching on that. But she's also a pretty big stitch. I do have the house I could fill in, so I might still take her with me. But I'm thinking I'm going to take a bunch of smalls. Like my Mania starts from last year, I have all these patriotic ones, and I had finished several. None of them are FFO'd, but I finished several, and last night had some time, and I picked up this one, Where Liberty Dwells, out of my Mania starts. And I finished the flag, and I worked down on the firework, and I finished the pole, and so now I just need to do this part down here. It goes really fast. Like I could probably finish this in a day, maybe two. Probably one day would be enough. There's really not a ton of stitching on it. So I think I could, probably put several of those in my bag, in one of my multifamily dwelling bags. And that would be enough. I wouldn't get bored. I could switch my projects out, and they would not take a lot of room, and they would be easy to hold on to. So I think that's what I'm going to do coming up. So that's the other whip that I worked on. Oh, and I have a new start. So one of the other things I've done since we last met is I said two things. One, I caught Nisi Lynn, Teresa Kogut, and Stitching with the Sisterlies. I caught their Halloween party video toward the end, and talk about a hoot. We need more of that. I'm just saying, more of that in the life, please. They were fantastic together. I enjoyed watching them. They did a great job managing technology. That video is available on Teresa Kogut's channel, so you can go watch it if you want. But great energy. I won a pattern. I'm so excited. It was the Lincoln's Eagle, the new release from Teresa Kogut. So that was on my to-buy list. So now I was excited to win that. And then the next day was the Pacific Northwest Summit, the retreat that we were supposed to have that we weren't able to have. We had a Zoom, and we also had the kits from Beth Twist and Paulette Stewart. So that was fun. It was great to see everyone. It was hard because there's 75 people on the Zoom meeting. So even on a laptop, when I could see 25 at a time, I still found myself sort of swiping to more pages of 25 people. And there are people I would have loved to have sat with and stitched. But it was still, you use what you got, and it was still a lot of fun. I enjoyed it immensely. So what did we pick up at the retreat? The first one, and this one I started, is by Heartstring Samplery. This is May All Your Dreams Come True. Isn't that sweet? This is so Beth Twist, don't you think? And it came in this little package. So it's in a little bag, but also, look at that. Isn't that a fantastic? I'm going to save this and put it in a little journal. And she also had, I think she had helpers who put these together. This, I think, is a sticker too. It's a little butterfly, and it has a butterfly pin and some finishing material. So that's a sweet, I just love going to a retreat and getting a little something put together like this, and oh, it just makes me happy, 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 happy. Also, the big pattern from Beth is I'm going to take it out of the thing. My wish, may your dreams come true from now until we meet again. And here are the colors. Yeah, I've got a wad here. Sorry. Oh, that's from my stitching. But here's the colors. Aren't they great? I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And the fabric, I'm not sure which one we got. I think it's the graham cracker from Teresa Vanette's son. I think he's the one who dyes the fabric. So that was from Beth Twist, Heartstring Samplery. And I did start the small. Did I just show you this? I can't remember if I did. May your dreams come true. This was a lot of fun to work on. So that was a start and a whip. Here's my pattern. This one was from Paulette from Heartstring Samplery. This is Gather. Oh, I guess I'll take this out of the package. Gather with Grateful. The Gather In is what it's called. So it says Gather with Grateful Hearts. And if you notice, she pointed out this looks a lot like Cinnamon Stars on the Roof, doesn't it? She borrowed it from that pattern. But look at the lady driving the cart with all the fall goodies, and then the barn is full of pumpkins, and it's got quilt motifs on it. I love this. Love it, love it, love it. And so what this says, we were talking about the names that she puts on her patterns. This is Edna, proprietress of the Gather Inn. And Calliope, the gentle steed, is down here. This is her horse Calliope. That's awesome. So we were talking about like older names, Edna, and then we were talking about these other names, Hazel and Myrtle. And so I just cracked it because my grandparents were Edna and Einar, very Norwegian names, Edna and Einar, and Myrtle and Ralph. So both of my grandmother's names came up, but she has such a way with people, little vignettes of people. That's really unique to Paulette, I think, anyway. So this came with, look at this, Calliope loves you. Some very fall threads, overdyes, DMCs, and more overdyes from Weeks. So love it. It's great. This also has, I think she said this was 40 count gram. Now this is pretty rustic. And at first I was like, ooh, I don't know. This is pretty, she had an issue with leakage in her pack too. So it has a couple of drops, but now that I look at it, I like it. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to stitch it on this, because when you stitch it, you're not going to see all of this, right? Plus, let's be honest, there's a lot of stitches on that piece. It's going to cover a good part of this, but I really like the uniqueness of this fabric. So very likely I will use that fabric. That was our Zoom meetup. A lot of Northwest stitchers were on the call, but a lot of people who came to maybe Fall Fling last year and signed up. A lot of non-Northwest stitchers were on the call too. So I love seeing all of the faces. I'm just going to say, loved it, loved it. Now, what else do I want to show you? I enjoy this so much, you guys. I look forward to this. I do feel a little frantic sometimes, like I'm flying by the seat of my pants, but then I get going and it doesn't really matter, right? Because you don't care. You just want to see the things. But let me refer to my list here. So I have 4 big finishes in the last couple months. So I'm going to start 5 things between now and New Year's Day. The first one I'm going to start today is, I blame this entirely on Carol Saltbox Stitcher, although actually I had this already kitted up, is Esther Edison. Because look at that house. That's my jam right there. Oh, look at this picture. Here's the original sampler. Wow. What if you got that? Wouldn't it be great to find a sampler like that that's reasonable? Does it cost you, you know, $3,000? The fabric is, I won this from Victoria Motto. I think it was my birthday month. She was giving it away, or Christmas, like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's sort of it's a great sampler color. There is some light modeling to it, and it does sort of have some greenish goldish tinges to it, which should be fantastic with the red and all the neutral threads. So love that. Here's the threads. I actually stole one thread from here, so I'm gonna have to either put it back, or I'm not sure if I'll need it. But you know, we borrow from our projects for another project. Love that color palette. So that's my start. I'm going to start that today because I don't have enough to do. I got a crap ton of things to do today. So that's on my to-do list, starting that today. On my birthday, I'm starting Hannah Pepper, and Teresa Kitten Stitcher showed her whip on that. That came from a Fine Lines magazine. I bought it off of eBay. It was a really good deal. Sometimes you get, there's 4 patterns or 4 magazines that it was released in parts over. And so I need to make sure I haven't picked up the fabric or made sure I had all the threads yet. So that is on my start list for my birthday, which is December 3rd. And then I have the Garden series by Blackbird Designs. This one, I'm stitching this on, I don't know, this looks like pecan butter maybe from Lakeside. And I picked up the threads for this. Okay, so this has a lot of threads, right? And most of these are in the Anniversaries of the Heart, and I've had my fabric for that for 5 years. But now I think I'm going to change it because I'm pretty sure it's a 32 count, and I'm going to do it for sure on a 40 count. So there's a lot of threads in here, and I think these will go pretty quickly because they're little finishes, right? There's like, here's one, here's another, and then I just need to chart it out. And I don't know, I'm going to put that hat on her. I might do something different with her hair. But these, if you see them all together, gorgeous. I love them. So I'm going to play with that, but I think that start will probably be Thanksgiving. And then I have 2 more starts, one New Year's Day, one Christmas. I'll hold that for next time. Yeah, it's out of control. But I've had finishes. What can I say? You know what it is that now I've got to pay for the framing, and geez, that's a small fortune. But it's worth it. I spent a lot of time and energy on it, so I'm happy to do it. What else do we have? So those are sort of plans that I have coming up, and it looks like we're down to haul. Some of you love this, some of you don't. Actually, I have not heard anybody say that they don't like watching haul. If you don't, that's okay. No worries. And I have a giveaway too. But I was at Michael's, and this was on the super clearance sale. Did I open this already? I did not. I think this was like $2. So it's a different color on this side than it is on this side. And these are perfect ornament finishes. So if you have a prairie schooler, those egg ornaments, or anything, any little Easter design, this will be perfect for. So all of the big box stores have some leftover spring and summer that they're trying to unload. Yep. That was a smoking deal. Also in the mail, one of the most beautiful books I have ever bought. I saw this on the French Needle, sends a newsletter out, and I saw this book and I thought, ooh, I really like that. And then Mary Corbett, who does embroidery, if you don't subscribe to her newsletter. She sends something every day, and I know she's a blogger for sure, but she had this for sale. She had limited number. This is just, it is fantastically gorgeous. And even if you're not an embroiderer, this is so inspiring. You know, this is just more of the amazing stitches that are in here. I ogled it, looked at it, and I couldn't, it's just amazing. So beautiful. Look at this. Attention to detail. Gorgeous. This is, I'm going to put it up here so you can screenshot it if you want to. Ricamere, I can't say it. I don't know. A seed, a stitch is what it means, I think. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. That is by Elizabeth, Elisabetta, Elisabetta, and last name is Sforza. All right. I also ordered, and it did finally come in, because, gosh, it was so popular, from Traditional Stitches and Morrison. I don't have plans to start this yet. This is not one of my 5 starts. I love the colors on this though, you guys. And this on a dark fabric would be a stunner. A stunner. So, yes. Yes, please. Also came in the mail. This is, you can still find these books. This is Blackbird Designs Weekend. And in here, so there's some treasures in these. They're, look at this. Look at a table, little runner there. Oh, love that. And they tuck in these books, patterns. Sometimes there's cross stitch patterns. There's the cover. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I just can't wait to do all the applique and all the things. So I'm going to show you this. I just love that. So this, wouldn't this be beautiful if it was like the chocolate browns and maybe blush colors? And in here, there's also cross stitch. Oh, here's the two patterns on a bed. Gorgeous. I think that quilt is in here too. There's rug hooking, and then this one. Is this in Ooh La La? I think it looks familiar, like it might be. These are available, so I encourage you to go pick that up. Also picked up a Blackbird Secret Garden. This is 2 quilts. I specifically bought it for this one. Yep. I did not have this Halloween Greetings. I think I would change the colors on this. I'm not sure though. Why mess with Blackbird? I picked this one up. I can't remember where I got this. This is Hopeful by Carriage House Samplings. Good Intent Farm. Mount Misery Road and Two Sheep Farm. Isn't that funny? I think I might change the name of the road, but I probably would change the colors in this, but I love the picturesque scene. So when I was a kid and I would always draw pastoral scenes of hills and farms, and that's just, it was easy for me to draw that. Because it didn't have to be perfect, and it didn't, it could be very highly imaginative, but I do love the little animals on that hill too. And so 2 designers, one shop and one shop / designer I want to talk about next. I 100% blame this on Michelle Cozier. I'm not going to take this out of here. And Sylvia Runs with Needles and Scissors. Running with Needles and Scissors. I'll link them both below. They both have mentioned this particular sampler. This is from the e-sampler. Marguerite is in Canada. This is one of the prettiest samplers I have ever seen. Look at the cartouches, all the floral, the border. It's so well balanced. It's so pretty. She is, Marguerite does reproductions, and I talked with her on the phone, and there's I don't know if this is a museum. I think it might be a museum that she has charted some of their original samplers. This one is called Victorine Delacroix, 1833. So the e-sampler does not, her online presence, she spends a lot of time doing reproductions, and that's her expertise. So if you go to buy online, the website leads you to fill out a form and email it to her. Although the process wasn't clear, I gave her some feedback and she was very receptive to it. Understand that if you're like me and I like to go online and buy at midnight or whenever I should not be shopping and be done with it, it's a little more work for me, but it costs a lot of money to have software to run an online shop. So you have to do volume. And she is a boutique sort of a shop. So what she said and what we talked about and what I didn't realize is that really, if you look at the online form and you either scan it, fill it out, and rescan it and send it in, it's not an editable form in its current state. I'm sure you probably could make a PDF and write on it. Just look at what she asked for. She just asked for basic information. You could put that in an email and ask her to invoice you, and she'll send you a PayPal invoice and you're done. So I made it a little bit harder than it had to be, honestly. But it's gorgeous. So I did, because no chart could travel alone, I picked up this one, and this one is called Sophia Alexander 1800. Oh my gosh, the colors in this are fabulous. Okay, so here's some things. There are, I'm sure, specialty stitches in this. It looks like there's pulled work here. There's some freehand embroidery here. So if you're up for a challenge and you want to do something that's a little different, this would be a great one to do. And you probably could easily stitch this as cross stitches too. It's not like you have to be held exactly to what the designer put on here. But the colors on this are fabulous. There's a bird on the top. There's a lot of pinks and reds and greens. It's a very soft color palette with exception of the letters at the top here. Looks like a Scottish sampler based on the lettering. I haven't read it. She does a nice job of writing some content on the back. The e-sampler, ESSAMPLAIRE. The e-sampler. I will link her shop below. Very prompt in terms of she shipped it right away. You know, when it's coming internationally, it's really not the shop. The shop sent it right away. It just took a couple weeks because it was coming from out of the country. And then I ordered from Jan Alexander of Tree of Life Samplings, and she showed a pattern, and I was like, oh, I need that one. I need that one. So I went to her Etsy shop, and it was, you know, it's this one, Penny Harvest. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the colors in that. And what I love is that this is not 500 by 500 stitches. It is doable. It sold out. So that's okay. I found a couple of others. And then she tucked this one in my order. Thank you so much. She's so generous. The second one is Glory Glory. Look at that patriotic sampler. So pretty. Hallelujah. God's truth is marching on. Amen. So the last one I picked up is Anna M's Teach Me with a big red house and a beautiful, lovely, swirly border. I loved them. She had lots of great stuff on her site. I think that's it for my haul. So for a couple of giveaways, we're now sort of moving out of the fall frenzy, the Halloween fall. There's still good fall stitching to be done, and I will be working on a couple of fallish type pieces next month, plus my Esther Edison start. And now I'm sort of thinking about Christmas too, and winter, which is kind of depressing. I'm just going to say I'm I like where I live because you don't have to shovel rain. Just gonna say, we get maybe one snowfall a year. But I love spring. I love fall. I like summer too. Summers here are beautiful. But we do have to contend with winter, and why not make it beautiful? This is anagram diffusion. Creation is Jean Louis Grandsire. Sample for seasons. The red and the prettiness. You can see that there's 4 seasons here, right? There's snow, leaves are falling, leaves are coming on, leaves are there, and the leaves are coming on, looks like. Yeah. Very pretty design. So if you would like this design, please write the word seasons. I better write that down. Remember it for next time. Seasons. Okay. And then the second one is by the Needle's Praise. This is virtue outshines the stars. And the saying says, virtue outshines the stars, outlives the tomb, climbs up to heaven and finds a peaceful home. So this is by Darlene Osteen. And Darlene just passed recently. So this is a tribute to Darlene, who was such a vibrant contributor to modern stitching history. And I encourage you to look up her patterns. I know Lori Mischievous Stitches is a big fan of Darlene Osteen's work. If you would like Virtue Outshines the Stars, please write virtue in your comment. Aren't those flowers pretty? Gosh. Anyway, so that's the second one. I'll write that down, virtue. And so I guess what I would like to know, if you could answer a question. And I'm going to tell you, last time I asked you what candy you would trade first out of your bag for Halloween. Hello. So people don't like Tootsie Rolls. They really don't like licorice. And they don't like things with coconut. Those are the 3 strongest responses that I got, to which I would say, I'll trade all those. I love all those. Well, the ones I agree with is I call it trash can candy. It's the like the little sort of really hard taffies. They're sort of, I think they're supposed to be peanut butter flavored, but they're in a black wrapper or like a tan wrapper. Those would always be eaten last. I would give those away. They're filling Polar Otters, right? But I would trade you for a Mounds. I love a Mounds bar. Some people didn't like mints so much. Some people just didn't like chocolate. But it was very interesting, like right away, boom, I don't like licorice. Boom. I hate Tootsie Rolls. I give them to my husband, right? It's like, dang. So that was the results from last time. And this time, so if you could answer, what is the new start that you have in mind that you are most looking forward to? It could be this year or next year. I don't know when. What is the new start that you're most looking forward to? I forgot to mention that yet my ladies have not left England to come to America yet. Haven't started this. And I've seen all the beautiful finishes and starts and whips, but I am going to do something different with this. I'm not going to stitch the whole thing. I'm going to stitch a couple pieces. I have some leftover fabric, this vintage wood smoke that I had stitched my Halloween at Hollyberry Farm on. And I also have, this is the second one. I haven't seen anybody start this one, but this is Harvest Blessings. This one is, I'm going to start too. So I might start that at the retreat. I have to find see if I have some threads that'll do and some fabric. I have fabric. No joke, I got fabric. So those are the things that I'm going to start this next week. So this next week I'm going to the Midwest retreat, and I am so excited. I can't wait to go. We're going to be careful. We're going to be smart. You know, we probably can't give each other hugs and be as enthusiastic as we normally are, but we will enjoy each other nonetheless and be thoughtful, social distance. So I'm looking forward to that, and I plan to take the smaller projects. I might take those Coming to America projects with me. We shall see. So many plans. And you know what? Next time, I might have done something completely different. Although I am going to start Esther Edison today. So that's it for today. I love you guys. Thanks for stopping in. I hope that you're feeling blessed, even in this crazy season of the weirdness going on. There is beauty everywhere, and there are good things everywhere, and there are good people everywhere. So be kind, be true, and I will see you all in a couple weeks. Take care.